Before we begin today's episode, we'd like to extend our gratitude to our sponsors at Avid for the incredible opportunity to raffle off a 1-year subscription to Media Composer as a thank you for watching. To enter, please visit postinblack.com/Avid and submit your information. The link will remain active for 1 week, and then the winner will be announced the next day via email and in an IG post on our social media. Thanks so much and enjoy today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Post in Black, where we celebrate Black excellence in the building. Today, we got the one and only Calmatic. Yes, sir, man. How you feeling, man?
All is well, man. I can't complain at all.
This is a blessing. It's a privilege to have you here. We're excited.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's been a minute. We're trying to get you in the building, and so we're thrilled. We're gonna jump into it. We have to do an icebreaker, though.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
We can't. So we know you're a talented filmmaker, director, editor, all of that. If you could, go back in time travel and show your younger self one of the scenes from all the things you've worked on, what scene would you choose to show them, like, man, look what you did?
That's a crazy question.
It's a lot, because you did a lot.
That's more than an icebreaker. Damn.
Right. That's a real one.
Man, I would have to say it has to be, a scene from the Kendrick video Squabble Up I just did.
Yeah.
Right? There's a scene where Kendrick is holding up the Jesus Save Gangster sign, right? And then on the left side, you got the vignette of like the girls taking pictures in front of the, pink airbrush backdrop. Yeah. And on the other side, you got a vignette from a Soul Train episode in the 80s, right? Yeah. And those are just like classic references of like Black culture, like in life form. Yeah. But specifically like growing up in LA, that's like those things like ring true. Like, there's a guy that till this day, like since I was born to this day, stands on the corner of Crenshaw and Vernon with the sign that says Jesus Saves Gangsters, right? Yeah. And so every Sunday going to church, like it would be like a adventure or like an event to see him still out there. Yeah. And we would honk and all that. So I think like to show my younger self, like, yo, like that dude on the corner, like we got him in like one of the biggest videos with the biggest artist holding his sign. Like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that probably would be it right there, just to kind of show him that like these things that are just like in our regular everyday, life are worthy of being presented on the biggest platform ever.
That's real.
So that'd probably be that.
Nah, that's true. I mean, you jump right in like that video. The first time I heard it, we have some extended family from Oakland, and when I first heard it, my ears just tingled. I was like, oh, what in the world is this? This song, the video, and that everybody put their elbows up when they saw that video. So you talking about that? How did you get your start? Like, was it always something in you that made you? You said, I'm going to be a filmmaker. You're from LA, but like. Yeah. What was it that got you started?
I can't, it's crazy. I have to like really be honest. And I don't think I ever thought that I would be a filmmaker. It wasn't a dream that I had since I was a little kid. Like I always wanted to be a baseball player. Like that was my dream. You know what I'm saying? But I think, along that journey of, trying to be a baseball player, I was heavily into music. Mm-hmm. And a neighbor upstairs, he used to like make beats, right? Okay. And he used to like, we used to hear his bass lines every night to the middle of the morning. And then one day he like gave me his equipment. He gave me like a little keyboard and a drum machine. And so now I'm like starting to make beats, you know what I'm saying? So now, this is around the time that like Kanye West is like coming about and all these producers like Ninth Wonder that are using like Fruity Loops and these like software production programs. And so I just became like full blown into music, like rapping, making beats, like really trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going around LA connecting with all these underground artists, artists like Dom Kennedy, artists like Anderson Paak, artists like Paak Div, You and I, all these like early LA artists. But at the same time, like I'm a nerd, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm in the studio with everybody, but I'm the only one that know how to use the computer. I'm the only one that know how to like open up Photoshop and like create an album cover. Yeah. I'm the only one that knows HTML and I could design your MySpace page and like hook you up with like the Flash banner and all that. Yeah, like we could really do that. And so I realized like I had a different use than just like trying to get a beat on somebody's album or trying to get a verse. And so I noticed that, and I'm like, yo, I need to make some money, you know? And so me and my boy Byron, his mom bought him like a Canon Rebel TI, right? Which is just like a regular, you know, entry level DSLR. And we would do photo shoots and like do album covers for artists. And so, you know, it wasn't nothing too crazy, but, you know, we do a package where we do a photo shoot and we'll design your MySpace page and, you know, that older.
Oh, that was hot.
Right. That was the thing, right? You know what I'm saying? And long story longer, one day I came home and somebody broke into my crib, right? And I'll tell the story a bunch of times, but I think it's worth telling again. I come home and like everything is gone. Like my Dell laptop is gone. It could barely hold a charge though. It was old as baseball, but it was just like what I had at the time. And you know, the camera was gone, all my equipment, everything was gone, TVs. And then my mom, she was like, well, you know we got renter's insurance, right? She was like, what kind of camera did you have? And I'm like, oh, I just had a little Canon Rebel. She was like, no. What kind of camera did you have? And I'm like, oh, so actually, Mom, I had a Canon 7D, you know what I'm saying? You know, the first Canon that actually shot 24 frames.
Yeah.
I had a brand new MacBook Pro, you know, 18-inch, you know what I'm saying, with extra hard drive space. And so we did the thing.
Yes, sir.
And then next thing you know, like now I'm back in the studio with my homies, but I got a brand new laptop.
Upgrade.
And I got a camera that can actually film video, and it's not just like a point and shoot.
Yeah.
You know, and so from there, I'm like, yo, let me go on YouTube, let me figure out how this shit work, and let me start finding ways to make more money.
Yeah.
And so, you know, now when I'm going back to the studio, instead of just suggesting album covers and MySpace designs, I'm like, yo, let's shoot a music video.
Yes, sir.
And that's how it happened. That's how it started.
That's classic.
Yep.
That's classic. You know, you took the pain of like, man, how you gonna take all my stuff to like the entrepreneurial, you know, that moms, what can we say enough about them?
Right. And,
you know
and it's interesting because at that time, like I remember right before it happened, I was an extra in a music video, in a Kanye West music video.
Really? That
was directed by Spike Jonze, right?
Do you remember which one it was?
It was called See You in Your Nightmares. It was like some weird, like small, like indie, like short film thing he did that never came out. But I remember Spike Jonze filming with, like, in my eyes, a DSLR. And I'm like, yo, how are you filming a music video with a camera, like with a photo camera?
Right.
And he was like, yo, it's this new camera called the Canon 5D and it shoots video. And the interesting thing is, like, if you really want to nerd out, like at that time, the 5D shot 30 frames.
Yeah.
And so it was cool for a camera, but it wasn't 20, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
and the 7D was cheaper than the 5D because it wasn't as good of a photo camera, but it had 24 frames. And so people were spending money on like the bigger camera. And not having that texture. And so even when I was doing early videos, people was like, yo, man, something about your footage, it just looked like a movie, bruh. And I'm like, y'all don't really know. It's just the frame rate. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of my advantage early on for sure.
No, that's fire. It sounds like you obviously knew a lot about the technical, even from what you were doing, and being the only one in the area, having the access that you did, it kind of helped you practice and get, you know, get hooked and get game even more. Would you say that was what the kickoff for, like, okay, I want to do this for real now? Obviously, you say you want to get money, but you're like, okay, I want to do this for real. I know you went to CSUN. Was that like, okay, I want to go study a little bit more? How did that come about?
Nah, so when I was at CSUN, I was a graphic design major.
Really?
Because I was really on my like Photoshop, like, you know, design and stuff.
Okay.
This thing didn't even happen until after college. You know what I'm saying? And so I dropped out of college because, you know, I was making enough money doing flyers and graphic design without the degree. So I'm like, let me just focus on music. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I guess, like, you know, that did kick it off. I think what set it off for me is I was around a bunch of music friends naturally through music. And so it was easy to make that transition because you know, people like Anderson Paak, I'm like, yo, let's do a video, bro. And he's like, okay, Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, I got an Anderson .Paak video.
Yeah.
And so the more that they grow, I'm there growing with them.
Growing with them. Nah,
Yeah.
I mean, I know you did one with them, and you talking about Dom Kennedy. Like,
Right.
all these people that you're growing up with, you're growing, you're learning too. So when you come into the next video with them, do you have something new you want to bring to it? Like, you know, hey, let's expand, let's experiment with this.
Yeah, 100%. I think so. Aside from Dom Kennedy and those other names I mentioned, like Overdose was a group that I worked with like almost exclusively, and you know, it was a group of 4 dudes from my neighborhood who were like the next Outcasts, and so they were very outspoken, very creative, very energetic, and so we would just like hang out every day. Once again, I would hang out with them doing music,
right?
And then once I got my camera, like, yo, instead of just sitting around listening to beats, let's go out and explore. And so we would see like, you know, a Missy Elliott video where she got the big bug eyes, and we're like, yo, how do we do that? And so, all right, let's just get the camera, let's go out and film, you know, us doing some craziness, and then let's come back and like try to figure it out. And that's just kind of how I, you know, in my own way, developed my own like quote unquote ghetto editing style, just trying to figure shit out. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's half the battle. You figuring it out in the moment. What do you feel like you wish younger like editors would experiment with more? Because you kind of made your own lane, but you didn't have a backdrop. You weren't trying to compare yourself. Obviously, you mentioned Spike Jonze. I know that was inspiration to you. You know, Spike Lee, another inspiration to you. But what would you feel like you would encourage other people to do or take maybe from the Calmatic handbook when you were first starting out?
Man, I think it's interesting to ask that question in 2025, because I feel like a lot of editors are doing it without even knowing. You know what I'm saying? My advice would be to like not focus on the equipment that you have or the access that you have, and to do whatever you can do with what you have. So like, you know, when I first started editing, like I was using Windows Media. Like, I don't even remember the name of it. It was like Windows Movie Maker or something.
I know,
on Dell, right? And I wasn't even editing music videos. It was just like random stuff on my old before I got my Mac, right? And then once I got the Mac, like the first videos I edited was in iMovie. And like not the new iMovie, the old iMovie.
Yeah.
I'm talking about chopping things up, color correcting.
Yeah.
Because they used to have this weird little like color wheel where you can shift the white balance. And next thing you know, you got a vintage,
you know, you're doing something.
Right. But I was doing something.
Right,
you know
for sure, you were, right.
And so even, you know, and I remember even when I did my first video where I was like, no, I'm gonna do this in Final Cut. I'm gonna do it the real way. I remember my like 2-minute video, I exported it at like 60 gigs. And I'm like, how am I, like, I don't even have the right space to do that. Like, what am I doing wrong? But in that process, I'm learning how to use the software. Like, it's all trial and error. And so I think like, you know, even going back to the group Overdose, like they would give me prompts of like, yo, can we do this? And I'm like, I don't know, let's try it. And so like, I remember one video for a song they got called Lauren London. They was like, yo, we just want to run and then jump in the sky and fly away. And I'm like, I'm not even thinking like, oh, it has to be green screen and After Effects. I'm like, all right, this is what we about to do. We about to shoot one plate of just the street, right? Then we gonna have another plate of y'all running and then jumping, right? So we film that. We got 2 plates. And so what I do, I pause the frame when they reach their highest jumping point. I screenshot it, bring it to Photoshop, then crop it out. Right? Then crop them out individually, then throw it back into Premiere or into Final Cut as an image, and then move the image with the keyframes.
Right.
And that's how it came out, right? And we loved it, and people loved the video. And obviously that's not the right way to do it technically, but with me doing it my own quote unquote ghetto ass way, it created its own texture and its own art style that people, you know, learn to love. And I think that's like 100% like the point of, you know, being expressive and being creative with art.
That's the point of it. I think one of the things I'm gonna jump into, because you're hitting on a lot and it's so real and I love it. But as you're growing in your career and you're making all these strides, you have all this, you know, time to be experimental. Now that you're getting some bigger projects and all of that, would you say you had some more constraints on the expression, or were you still able to be as creative and free You talking about even features, other music videos when there's more hands in the pot, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, 100%. Well, I think to me, that's why like I'm very selective about what I do edit.
I feel it.
Right?
Yeah.
If you really look at it, you know, I do music videos. I've done 2 features and a lot of commercials.
Right.
I've only edited 1 commercial that I've directed.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What about, I know there's one that just came out. I saw with Kevin Hart. The one.
I didn't edit that one.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, and I don't really edit commercials because I understand the business behind like commercials when you have a agency and a client.
Yeah.
And the client and the agency, they want to see 90 edits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. But like Magic Johnson said, I ain't gonna be there. I ain't gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I pick and choose what, you know, my battles. And it's so funny because, you know, the one commercial that I did edit, which was a commercial I did with Doechii and Angel Reese for Cash App.
Okay, got you.
With PG Lang. We shot that the end of last year.
Yeah.
I edited it, but guess what? It was a Warner. And so, you know, I just gave them the clip. You know what I mean?
Like, here we go.
And I just did a commercial. I guess you can call it a commercial with Fear of God.
Yeah.
It's more of an editorial. You know what I mean? And that was more of a direct to client situation.
Right.
And you know, there's been a bunch of situations where I've done the editing, but I didn't get the credit for it because I was working closely with the editor and just kind of telling them where to put stuff. So I'm not here to claim stuff,
sure.
but I think like, you know, when it comes to commercials, I've accepted that that's not something that I am totally committed to right now, editing wise. But you know, my music videos, 98% of them are edited by me.
Right.
And I think, you know, for me too, it's also about understanding how things work. Not to get into a whole nother thing.
We here to dive in.
But I feel like it's interesting because, you know, I told myself last year, I was like, you know, I really want to like monetize or at least structure my skill sets to give them the opportunity to be monetized, right? Okay. It's like, you know, I love music. I love music.
Right.
I should have a music house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know musicians. I know some of the best musicians in the world.
Yeah.
I should have a music house. I am an editor. I should have a post house. Even if I'm just the only editor on the roster, I still got a post house because there is a line in the budget for that. For post-production supervisor.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I'm just trying to work up the courage and work up the energy to be able to take on those projects that I know are more demanding.
Yeah.
And know that I have the confidence to overlook them and make decisions and work with people, because that's all these other companies are doing. All these, especially when it comes to commercials, there's a lot of post-production houses. Yeah. And I'm like, what is a post-production house? Right. It's just somebody who is like, yo, hey, you want to edit for me? You want to edit for me? Yeah. All right, this my editors over here. What's up? Right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like figuring out how to do that for myself to take advantage of all the things that this industry has to offer that the average person in it doesn't know about.
No, you're hitting on something so real. When I first moved to LA, and as I said countless amount of times, like I'm going into my 18th year, so my senior year, you know, being out here. When I first moved, one of my boys was a line producer on a show. And I was like, we want to be a PA. I'm like, what's that? Because I came out here to act. I'm out to act. He's like, oh, you're going to drive the cast around. You take them to the airport, do that. And I'm like, what? I got lunch, sometimes got dinner, and got like $250 a day and was on set and had no idea that was there. And then you start looking at and growing up, I'm doing my own producing, doing some other things, and you're looking at stuff, you're like, wait a minute. Right. You said it right, the line item. Oh, there's a post-production supervisor? Right. Well, I can do that. And I can be paid as the editor and collect both because they have everything set up. So you're seeing all these things and it's not known to us. Right. So it's just like.
Right. And you look at these companies and you're like, oh, they got facilities. And I'm like, we got facilities too. Like,
You
what
feel me?
you need? Do you need a facility? Like,
Yeah.
at this point, I can send you a Frame IO link. Like,
I'm
you
telling-
know what it.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Look,
if you want to sit down, we could rent out a room.
100%.
We could put that in the budget.
Put it in the budget. Pandemic changed a lot.
Right.
People working from home, having access.
Right.
They were like, you're thinking, oh, I can't do it. They're sending editors.
100%.
They're sending editors equipment.
100.
What do you need to get the job done from the house? So
Right.
now you understand it. You're like, wait a minute.
Right.
I have that access. Okay,
Right.
let's
Right.
grow.
Yeah. So I think that's my next step is like, and I think another thing too is as far as commercials go is like, unlike music videos, as a commercial director, like once you direct the commercial, your job is kind of done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to necessarily sit in on the edit. Like that's the agency. They're kind of going to do their own thing. But I noticed that the jobs that I really follow through and sit with the editor and the agency at the same time, they have better results.
Yeah.
You kind of, as a director, I have a vision and I shoot based on that vision. I also shoot based on being an editor and knowing how things should connect.
Yeah.
And so if I'm not there for that aspect of it, it's up to them and their interpretation. And so, being a post supervisor, which sounds like, how dare you say you're a post supervisor? But like, what is a post supervisor? Somebody who just sits there and supervises.
Make sure the editor got what they need.
Make sure the editor got what they need.
Make sure things on time, scheduling, get it to the people that need to get it.
We can do that.
For sure.
You know
we
what I'm
definitely
saying?
can.
I do that without getting paid.
Yeah.
So let's do it and get, like I said, what this industry has to offer.
You're hitting on so much. I just talked to some students from SC, and I said, you know what? I didn't realize I was like so focused on acting. I didn't realize I had producer in me when I first started.
Right.
And I said, look at the skills that you have innately, like the things that you do organically. They might be something that is getting you paid. You might be a connector. You might be a relationship. You might be good with organizer. You can be a production coordinator. Get all the crew deal memos, send that in, make sure everybody's getting paid. Like that's a job.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in post, like, okay, you want to edit, you want to cut on the film, that's great. You might get there. But initially, you can be a post PA.
Right.
You can run
be
and
a
get
post
this.
PA.
You feel me? Like there's jobs that'll get you in, and then once you're in, it's like asking questions, the next one.
Right, and I think another setback that I have, and I'm just speaking not candidly. Hopefully, people can relate or just learn from what I'm saying. Is like, there's also the thing of like, am I good enough? Like, do I deserve this job? Like, am I experienced enough to know the ins and outs of post production, not just editing some clips together? And it's like, you can also hire a post supervisor.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You don't have to be the supervisor. You can hire someone that has been in the industry for 20 years and knows the ins and outs and is working on behalf of you and your creativity.
Right.
And so it's like, it's one of the things that they don't teach you. And, I've learned, I'm like, yo, we gotta know this. You know what I'm saying?
We have to. what would you say if you had, like, you obviously had people you were coming up with, but were there any like mentors that you had as you were growing, or was it something like I want to connect with them one day, but I'm kind of getting this from the mud. I'm just learning on my own. Or is there anybody that you like, even if you weren't able to connect with them directly, maybe you're able to watch an interview or hear something they say and be inspired by? Because obviously in LA, there's a lot of access to, but you might have been just so like focused on what you were doing, you didn't have the access. I don't know.
Man, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk or nothing, but I really can't pinpoint anybody that was like a mentor.
No, I got you.
I think there are definitely a handful of people that have helped me get to where I'm at with just connections and opportunities. But creatively, I think, I mentioned him earlier, but I think Spike Jonze has been someone that's very like informative on my approach.
Yeah.
Which is like, things don't have to be perfect.
Okay.
They can be perfect when you want them to be perfect, but they don't have to be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that like humanistic like nature of quality and energy and like expression, it creates like a variety of emotions and textures that I think I want to be, I want to present to the world.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just like, every time you see me do something, it looks exactly the same. It's sterile or it's, super grungy. I wanted to have all those things depending on how I'm feeling that day.
Yeah.
Spike Jonze could do, a $10 million Apple ad and then mess around and take his little iPhone and go do a skate video down the street, and it'll all, you know, be seamlessly, you know, together.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I want to approach things, is like not worrying about the quality and what it represents and where it puts me in the categories and all that kind of shit. I just want to express myself how I feel like expressing myself that day, period.
No, I feel that. And I think it ties into what you just mentioned, like Spike Jonze, but you talk about the 2 features that you did in the year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you talk about, obviously, the video. Can you talk about the features and how that even came about? And then what was that process like for you jumping into that bag and not just doing one, but like what was the mindset behind, like, you know what? We're gonna do 2 of these.
Bro, I tell people all the time that summer or whenever that was, I don't remember when that was
crazy.
Now.
Yeah.
That shit was like being on an episode of Scared Straight Hollywood Edition. I don't know if y'all remember that episode of Scared Straight where they woke up the little kid in the middle of the night and was like, "Wake up, nigga, you gotta get up." I feel like, you know, some Hollywood God woke me up and was like, "Wake up, little nigga, you wanna make a movie? Okay, we gonna give you 2 beloved remakes.
Right.
We're going to make you film it during COVID. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to make you film it all within 6 months. 2 movies.
Right.
And it was that, man. I learned so much, dude. I mean, just to give a little bit of backstory, what happened was right before COVID. So like maybe like February, March of 2019, I got the movie. Like I pitched on House Party and it was like, oh, we about to make a movie in the summer. And then oh no, it was the end of it was February 2020, my bad. Yeah. And so, you know, everything was Gucci and we went into prep. And I remember we was in the prep thing and somebody got a big old tray of Chipotle, like catered it. And we was sitting there and like nobody was eating it. And it was like, why you not eating it? And it was like, well, there's this thing called COVID. I don't know, I don't know if this is safe. And then like maybe like a week later we shut down, right? And so when we shut down, the goal was to like, pick back up on the movie when things got better.
Right.
But in that downtime, there was a lot of things being developed, right? And so Kenya Barris hit me up and was like, yo, we doing White Man Can't Jump. Like, are you interested? And I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I'm not gonna say no. Like, I don't know if this House Party movie is gonna happen.
Right.
And so what happened is I pitched on that movie and I got that movie. And then, once things got better, White Man Can't Jump was like, all right, well, we ready to shoot next week. And then House Party like, yo, we ready to shoot tomorrow. And I had to make a decision. House Party had the priority. Right. And so we scheduled it. So basically I prepped House Party for 6 weeks, shot it for 3 months, did post for 2 months. And then went right into prep for White Man Can't Jump. Bruh. But I think it was one of the best things that ever happened to me as a filmmaker, because I say this and I stick to this day, is like I learned something new every day that I wish I knew the day before. Like, damn, man, if I knew that yesterday, I could have, solved this. Yeah. But at the end of, 30 days and then another 30 days, I got 60 days of lessons.
Right.
And it's interesting because I kind of developed this new thing as a filmmaker where I have a checklist, right? It's like of these lessons and I try to look over them before every shoot. And it's like just little reminders of things that I wish I would have known before to make sure I don't make that mistake again. And that has definitely helped me, like going through, I'm not gonna say going through hell because it wasn't going through hell, but making a movie that shit is hard, bro.
It's hard.
And it's so much pressure. And like to be able to go through that, I feel like I could do anything. Yeah. And not to mention my music video experience and commercial experience before that. I think it's interesting that I exist in all 3 of those worlds because one thing I realized while I was doing the movie is like people that do movies don't really know shit about commercials. And people that do commercials don't know nothing about music videos. And it's like, even though we all do the same things and use the same equipment, it's very seldom do those like,
those worlds don't even mix like
they don't connect. And so when I'm like, yo, let's just go over there and get the shot real quick. They like, no, we have to talk to the permit. And I'm like, give me the camera. I'm about to go over here and film this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or like, just little tidbits of like editing and approaches and all these things are just like, it was just an eye opener to how people are used to working a certain way. But I feel like, you know, with my experience, I was able to get to the point faster and like, and get what I wanted without having to go through the motions of the industry.
No, that's real. I wrote down, actually, you touched on it. I wrote down 2 words: spontaneity and structure.
Right.
And I was thinking about the music videos and the commercials and what you just said with the feature. And I'm like, how do you mix your words? Because like your energy is the vibe, you know, when it's your tone, you set it up how I want to do. And then you got to go in there and you have that little like, how do you mix that? And
man, I got a quote for you. I got a quote for you, bro. I might butcher it because I forgot. I haven't said it in a long time.
Yeah.
But I feel like with music videos, you have the music to like help guide what you're gonna do visually. Right. At the end of the day, the song is there, right?
Right.
But with film, you're making the music with the camera. There is no music there. And so you have to create, you have to just imagine the right rhythms and the right beats in the hope that it makes sense later on. And so that was a big learning block for me. Even like when I would watch some scenes as a director, I'm watching the monitor. When I would do a playback, sometimes I would like not watch the screen and just listen.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, if it didn't sound right, it probably didn't like feel right. And because I'm kind of a music first person, and I feel like, you know, that's something that I really like take pride in is when I'm doing my edits, like even when I'm working with other editors, is just making sure that it has like a rhythmic tone to it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like a perfect on the metronome type of tone, but it has to have some kind of rhythm that I can identify to know that what I'm doing is something that is something. And so, I feel like I'm yapping, but
you spitting, you're dropping real, and I think that perspective is so unique to you, and it's helping a lot of people out here because you know, when we talk to editors, they're talking about I have this rhythm, or I listen to a certain soundtrack that gets me in the mode, but I'm breaking down the script. And we talked to Taylor about her working on him. She was like, "Oh, I was listening to this or working on that." For you, already having that in you, working with this music, it's like, I know what to do. Let me get it, but it's still having to like tailor it to you, to your liking. And then that collaborative process, working with other people. How is that for you when you're not actually on the edit and you kind of like, you have such a skill set in the background, and you're trying to communicate it, but you like, it's like double dutch. You trying to like, hey, I want to jump in here.
You know, it's so funny, man. So like, I remember when I first did House Party, I was sitting in with the editor, and it was a scene where I was like, nah, that's not it. Man, let me do it. And so I get up and I'm like, oh shit, this is Avid. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know how to use this shit. I don't even know why are y'all using Avid? Like, just put it in Premiere, bro. Like, why are you trying to do this whole fancy, like, I get it, but like, anyway, it did. So when I got on White Man Can't Jump, I remember I requested, like, in the editing room, can y'all give me a laptop or a computer that has Premiere on it? So that, you know, if there's any scenes that I can edit myself, you guys can just transfer it over. I didn't use that thing one time, dog. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, I think like, I realized that I had to humble myself and know that I'm not the best editor, but being a good editor isn't so much about pressing the buttons and clicking things and having control. It's about being able to relay the note in like a, you know, a way that the other editor could relate to, you know, and understand. And so that's what I really practiced on, was just like communicating, like, instead of just being like, let me do it, let me just, you know, do it. It's like really saying like, this is actually what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? It's the energy and the pacing. I feel like the pacing isn't rhythmic enough. You know what I mean? Or whatever the note may be. And that in turn made me a better editor, you know, when I had to edit my own stuff. So I just had to humble myself and just know that I'm not the only editor in the world, bro. And I can let other people edit my stuff. You know?
Nah, that's real. That's real. But you talked about the rhythm, you talked about the beat and figuring that out. Obviously, we jump into, you know, that Squabble Up video. You know what I mean? Like that's when I think our social media dialogue with you, like, bro, we have to talk. Obviously, everything that happened with Kendrick and just blowing up with everything, the tour and the music, it just went left. But that song, that video came out, game changing.
Man, appreciate that.
How, like, I mean, I'm telling you, like that thing just combines so many different elements. There's so much in it. In that, how did that come together? What was it like when you said? I know you worked with Kendrick before, but like, what was it like when you came like for the meeting talking about this? Like, what was going into the planning and visually? You're like, all right, I heard the song. How am I going to do this?
I think the craziest thing with this video is like, everybody thinks that it was just so like thought out and like, and like everything was strategic and
right.
But, during the process, I was talking to Dave Free and he gave me a little bit of insight of what Kendrick was on. Okay. Like, this is what he on. He on this.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the idea walking out of the meeting of what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I just started brainstorming and the video ended up where it ended up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I just wasn't sure if that was it, if that was the thing. But I told myself, like, I'm just gonna trust my heart. I'm gonna trust my instincts, and this is what I'm gonna present. And they loved it. You know what I'm saying? And like the video that you see, like that's like 99% of the original treatment that I sent them. Like they didn't really have any notes on like, oh, we want to change this, we want to do this, we want to do that. Like, and so I just I don't know, man. I feel like it's so much to get into, but I'm like trying not to go into it too much. But it was definitely one of those things where I'm just glad that those years of talking to Dave and Kendrick about certain things, they all kind of came to a swell where it's like, all right, now it's time to do all that shit we talked about.
Yeah.
And we just kind of threw it all in the pot and it made a really good gumbo. You know what I'm saying? I think, even coming into the project, I knew I was going to edit it. I knew I was going to, be able to like, I knew it was going to have this unique editing style.
Yeah.
The reference was the Roots video. Why can't I think of the damn song right now? I can't believe I can't think of the song, but it's the Roots video where they're in a room and then the curtain closes every time. And then when it reveals, like, they're in a different formation.
Yeah.
And, what's interesting about the Squad Beloved video is like, that was going to be the idea, like closing the curtain and then opening the curtain again and it'll be something different. But I just didn't want to copy the Roots video that much.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I remember thinking like, damn, how can I like change the scene without like wiping the frame, like without like doing a curtain? Because I don't want it to feel like we're just in this one room and we're just cutting between these different moments. Like it should have some kind of like reveal, energy. And so we kind of had this editing pattern where we would establish the wide, and then we would go into the tight moments of those things that were in the wide shot. So we would be in the wide and we'll see the whole world, and then we'll go in tight on one world, and then when we go back to the wide, it's something different. You know what I'm saying? Or you can, it's just. I feel like this is the place to talk about it.
It was so unique. It was like you. It's one of those videos where you remember it and you watch it over and over. Like one of my friends' house, they in the Valley, and we watch, and literally on a Friday night, Saturday night, we have a turn. There'll be like 10 people there, and everybody put a video on. So we watch a video. All right, your turn. But all right, what's the genre tonight? R&B. We doing that. And then no lie, every time since the video came out, all right, we just got to put it on just because there's so many elements. They're from LA, so it's like, you know what I mean. It's like this is our staple. We got to hit this. And so that's what it was. So you could talk about it, like all the elements, everything going into it. I feel like people want to hear that.
Yeah, and I think from an editing perspective too, like it was very important to like keep things fresh. You know what I'm saying, and keep things like vague as well. So like fresh and vague, and not just be repetitive over and over again. Because once again, we're in one room. Like there is no tricks. It was just like I said, it was that going from the tight to the wide thing. I just can't, man. I really want to break this shit down. But it's just like so many little things that are attached to it that I open up a can of worms. So I gotta like, really like suppress it. But at the same time, like I think, even when I did the first edit, I remember like being nervous and like, playing it for them, and they loved it. And, Kendrick gave me like one note. And I remember being like, damn, he gave me a note. Like, this shit must be whack. Like, what's this note?
Yeah.
And the note that he gave me, I can't say what it is, but the note that he gave me made me realize like why he's Kendrick Lamar. Because the little tweak that I made it like, oh, that's the thing that you do that like makes you better than everybody else, or allows you to maintain this greatness and this like greatness from this specific perspective.
Yeah.
And you know, as an editor, you know, it's hard to get notes, especially when you're a director too, and you like, no, this is it. Like I've been seeing this, you know, in my head for the last month. You ain't seen it like I have been seeing it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I had to humble myself and like apply that note, and it worked out for the better. And it made me realize like, oh, I need to take that thing. I know I'm speaking so vaguely right now. Y'all probably like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Nah, it's real. It's still connected.
Right.
But to that point, there's some editors out here watching maybe various points of their career, season, just starting out. Can you talk about like just this advice, I guess you would say, when you go into these rooms to pitch, like you already knew you were done, but like, what's your sauce? You said, oh, that's the thing that made Kendrick.
Right.
What's the thing that separates like, oh, we got to get Calmatic on this? You feel me? Like what's the
as
sauce?
An editor or
as an editor?
Well, that's the other thing. I don't really edit stuff that's not mine.
Okay, so I guess I'm signing into you being a director and you put the whole package.
Right.
We want Calmatic director and editor of your vision.
Right.
Like, how can you say you bring into it in the meetings, like you're setting yourself apart and like nobody else needs to be on this, is me.
Right. I think one thing I learned from the house party film and just like, you know, working in the industry and like working so closely to like hip hop artists and whatever, is like, it's one thing to like know the culture and like know what it looks like in real life and being able to go to a party and be like, oh, this is the culture.
Yeah.
It's another thing to actually replicate that culture on camera and make it feel real and make it feel like how it felt when you saw it outside.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would hope that my special power is to be able to like capture that. And it may not be perfect, but it's going to be close and it's going to be familiar and it's going to remind you of things that you may have experienced before.
Right.
And I feel like I've been using that as like my secret weapon of like, nah, this is what it really should be.
Yeah.
Like, this is what the culture is doing. Like, you know, whether it be a commercial, you know, like I did a commercial for AutoZone that ain't nobody gonna know I did it. But when you look at it, you like, oh, I could tell Chuck did it because you know, the person that worked at AutoZone, like, I'm like, yo, if a black dude worked at AutoZone, he got to wear black shoes. He ain't just going to wear no regular shoes. He going to wear some all black Jordans or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about those little nuances that like really tap in, whether or not people, you know, catch it or not, that's fine.
But you will. It has to be authentic.
Yeah, and then also people are catching it without like subconsciously as well.
No, for sure.
It just feels like something about that AutoZone commercial felt real good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was, but I'm about to go get some breaks. You know what I'm saying? So I think like that's kind of what I would hope is my like thing, is like really understanding like, and not just like black culture in general, but just like culture and just like human culture and like what people are doing in all facets of life and making it feel like I'm reflecting them in whatever spots or music videos or whatever I'm doing.
Nah, you got the sauce. It's not a surprise why you doing what you're doing,
right? And
why you've done it all. Can you tell us what's next? Like, what's in the mix? Obviously, I already mentioned like you got the commercial running right now. Kevin Hart, I seen that. He's doing his thing, taking selfies everywhere over the city. But like, what's in the mix? Can we be on the lookout for? Man, just to support.
Yeah, so just a lot of commercials. But I'm also launching my post house.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called We're Super Excited.
Yeah.
And basically, you know, that's just that overly used phrase that we love to use in this industry. Even when we're not excited, we like, oh yeah, we're super excited. And so it's just like, and also from an editing standpoint, you know, as an editor, you're hardly ever excited. You know what I'm saying? It's always like, depending on the project, it can be the opposite of excitement. You know what I'm saying? So I just like to use that juxtaposed, like, you know, phrase in the form of a company. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm launching that, and like, you know, and I just want to say too, like, launching it doesn't mean that I got financial backing and I'm about to like have a I'm launching it. I'm launching it in my head, and idea, and like it exists in a physical form to allow business to come through. But if it don't, whatever.
Right.
But I know I did that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And you can't tell me I don't have a post house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And so I think like just setting the tone and like really, you know, taking that first step to like creating these businesses and these entities to like grow in the industry like everyone else is growing.
Yeah.
Like I deserve to grow that same way as well. Let me just start right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that and just more commercials and more projects that, you know, are passion projects. You know, I'm starting, you know, the process of my first film.
Okay.
That's, you know, from me.
That's you. Yeah. Yeah.
That's me, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to be, you know, a fun process as well, man. So I'm just really ready to kind of like reset and restart and reapproach the industry from a different perspective now, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, it's almost like I went to industry jail in the sense with those movies, and I'm like, now I'm reformed. I can't wait to get out and like, you know, get my life together in like a more like mature way. Yeah, knowing how to navigate the industry the right way this time.
No, 100%.
and knowing what serves me versus what I'm just doing because I feel like I have to do because that's what you're supposed to do next. It's like I've done those things. I've done the movies with the studios. Not to say I would never do one again, but I don't have to do that again. I know what that's like. I know what they pay. I'm good. You know what I mean? I'd rather do what I'm doing now because it allows me to be more in tune with my goal and my process and what I want to create in this world. Yeah. And luckily I have the privilege of being able to do that, but I'm gonna take advantage of it.
No, 100%. I think some advice I got years ago, people were always wanting to work for this specific company.
Right.
And they were like, hey man, that company ain't everything. You know, you might be able to do more on your own or do more in this place. So it's like everything ain't always what it is. Like knowing your yes, I think helps you really, really set up your nose. Like I don't have to do that, and knowing that ahead of time. And I think it's it's a blessing. Like you have a lot of wisdom you got with you.
Well, I think just to go back to that point, I think like, and I know I've been going back to points all day, man, but this is part of the convo. Is like one thing I notice about people in the industry is like, you know, they're in the industry, they're trying to get in the industry, but they just don't know how shit works. And it's not easy to learn how shit works, but that's just the problem is they don't know how shit works.
Right.
And so when they say, oh, I want to work for this company or I want to work for blah, like what is that company?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's funny because even doing the studio features I did, you know, there will be a lot of talk about like, yo, man, the studio, like, you know, be careful. You don't want to make the studio mad. And then you get in a meeting and you like, who's the studio? Oh, Bob and Ted? That's the studio?
Right.
It's just two people?
Yeah.
Oh man, let me go talk to Bob and Ted real quick. And let me see what the problem is. That's knowing how things work. You know what I'm saying? And so when you think about editing and you see all these like big post houses that are like, you know, strategic, like big companies with big ass like offices and all that, it's like, what is that really? How does that work? How do they get paid? Yeah. Like, what's the overhead? Like all those things that I don't even know the answers to. And I'm still on a journey trying to figure out. Yeah. I think the more we know, the more we can have more discernment on what we want to spend our attention on.
No, 100%.
You know?
I think I got caught up when I first got out here and just repeating words that were said to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's the industry language.
Right.
And then I was like, what am I saying? That ain't me.
Right.
I had to really find my voice.
Right.
Be authentic to me and myself. And then I was like, oh, okay. I really get that. But you can get caught up in it if you're not careful, man.
Facts, 100%.
So, man, we've had a pleasure. Like this has got like round one, but we got round two. Like the energy, I just got to pull up on set one day with you because the energy, I know the vibes are just crazy, and just what you're doing. We can't say enough how happy we are to have you here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for just what you've done for the culture and the community and for LA. Like obviously, I've been out here a long time. My ears are just hip to. I'm like, oh, that's that video right there. Or that's Calmatic. And now seeing the person in flesh, it just makes all sense. So, man, much success to you in the future. Thank you for being here.
No, I appreciate you too for building this platform, man.
Yeah.
Because it's important for people to know who the people are behind all these projects that we're just watching every day on TV and not thinking about it.
For sure.
You know, being an editor is such a thankless job. Like I could tell you a lot of directors but I can't. Even DPs is getting they shine right now.
Getting it real.
But I can't tell you 10 black editors in the industry right now.
Yeah.
And there are more than 10 black editors. And it's like, the fact that I don't know that is a problem.
Nah, we're gonna have a mixer or something to connect everybody. Cause you know, I gotta shout out my brother. Like when he was the postman, when I came out to LA, he was out here before me.
Right.
He was just working. He said, bro, there's nobody that looks like me. He said, there's plenty of jobs out here to do it. We gotta get more people in it. Not everybody's gonna be an actor. Not everybody's gonna be a director.
Right.
And there's jobs and there's work. And there's a skill. You said it already. People have the skills. They doing it on TikTok right now.
Right.
They doing Instagram, they reels. How you do that?
Right.
And you could be getting paid
man.
weekly. You know, I mean, I don't
Somebody
even
make a movie in CapCut, man. Stop
me?
playing, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you real going crazy. So
CapCut.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Nah, I appreciate you. We're just gonna shout them out, man. Thank you all so much for tuning into this amazing episode with the one and only Calmatic. Thank you to our sponsors, Dolby and Avid. And please make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, share this. You don't want to miss our next episode. So until then, you stay black. See you in the next episode.
Right. Peace.